Hello and welcome everybody out there in YouTube and D&D land. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Before we jump into the action, don't forget like, comment, subscribe. All of those things help us out tremendously. If you are interested in supporting us a little bit further, consider becoming a member here on our channel. Memberships start at just $2 a month and you gain access to some really cool emotes. If you're interested in joining our community and joining any of our games, we do have open slots available in our Friday game and our Tuesday game currently. Be sure to reach out to me and let me know, or just join our Patreon to get onto the waiting list for it. Since it's already open, literally you just schedule a one-on-one with me and boom, we get you in here. But I believe that's going to be everything from me. Let us get into the action. Alrighty, Vance, what happened last week?
So we jumped right into our fight with Zyrene. And Ash drops silence on everybody, and Somdi manages to summon a creature to help, but he manages to make it look like Cat did it. And Vance upstairs decides to add a little excitement to the party and throws one of the vases of purple sands at the gladiators, which then causes everybody except for Fen and one of the gladiators to go nuts, including all the cats. And so while they're up there dealing with that, Zyrene turns into a T-Rex, takes a big bite out of Ash, and smashes Cat into the ground before Bartikov lights up into him. We dance around with all that for a while, Fen helping Vance upstairs, and as they start to beat down Zyrene at the bottom, Cat has to fly up into the air to get away from it, as he then sees the two gladiators pushed over the stairs and fall to the ground. As we finish off Zyrene, we then finish off the gladiators, and then after some attempted eating of Zyrene from Somdi's summons, we eventually managed to paint a picture of the gladiators going nuts with the purple sand and them killing Zyrene. So we all head back out with Vance and Ash leaving and Cat and Bart rejoining the party. Somdi manages to stay undercover the whole time, claiming that he helped end it, but he wasn't involved in the killing. We eventually find out that Silk was aware of the whole situation, because we find out that there was an earring that both Zyrene and Silk have that allowed him to listen in on the whole thing. And he made some comments about the fact that we're starting a war. And as Vance and Ash make it back to Jack's house, they find that Silk had murdered our two people that got us into the party, with Jasmine and I don't remember who the other one was.
Jezime and the guy nobody liked.
His promoter, basically.
Jessamine and Roline. Jessamine and Roline.
So we found them murdered horribly in Jack's house, so we all left. So we left Jack's house, we met up with the others outside, and then Somdi manages to charm a random gladiator, and we enter into his house to hide out, making some discussions about what's going on. Fen goes to Yasme to fill her in and get payment for everything. And then we spent a little more time with Fen and Somdi, go check out Fen's house to see if we can use it as a hideout. And then he goes back and he cleans up the bodies. And I think that's about where we left off.
So, in the night, Fen goes out to hopefully clean up the bodies of Jezime, give him a proper burial, and, well, Roline's head, something around that as well. So, everybody else, you get to participate in a long rest, uninterrupted.
Cool. I needed that.
So, you all wake up where the drunkard is still lying there, completely shit faced and passed out on the floor. Murphy.
That makes this easy. Where to next?
So are we hiding out for a while, or are we going straight for Silk?
Considering that Jasmine had very little chance, I think that perhaps we need to as much as I hate to say, I think we need more resources, more power. We need to hide out for a bit.
I would not be so sure. I noticed at the party after Silk had returned from his meeting with Jezumi and Roland, he had some burns on his arm. Wasn't badly injured, but the two definitely put up a fight. I think that if we could get him alone, we could probably do something. We'd probably have a pretty good chance of overpowering him, but our element of surprise is pretty much gone now. So unless we can ambush him, we're not going to be able to talk our way into a meeting. He's not that stupid.
True. Do we have
We need-
another way to get him alone?
Well, unless we decide to do this the old-fashioned sneaky way, learn his habits, skulk around like shadows, and pounce upon him from a rooftop.
Kind of like they've been doing with us, since there's constantly workers who've been watching us.
Pretty much. I think we are at a logistical disadvantage on that front.
Yes.
We should probably at least maybe not meet up with, but make contact with our contacts and the organizers of this whole coup, and try to make sense of the next moves. I don't think we need to be pushing for where to go on our own.
That's true.
Well, he still has one other ally too, right?
Bakutra.
Mm.
Ilakutra.
Another significant problem. While we could probably take Silk on his own, with some significant risk, the two of them together would pose quite an intimidating team. And if I were him, knowing that we are actively out to get them, I would not be letting her leave my side.
Unless he is looking to minimize the people at the top.
Well, that list of people is growing shorter. We took care of that.
Right, but at the same time, if he was listening, he let Siren die.
Well, yes, he's a cold-hearted bastard. He wasn't going to come running to save his partner when he clearly doesn't see him as needed, just useful.
Right. So perhaps
We should see what we can make of the information we have about those incoming shipments. One of them was supposed to come in last night. Clearly we missed that. But there was another that was supposed to be coming in from the deserts, east of Beacon's Rest, and then another one coming straight into the casino itself. In 3 days' time?
right. And at the same time, when are these Spaldings supposed to arrive? Do we know? It's supposed to be soon, I thought.
Within a week.
There's one coming into the actual casino, and then there's another one supposed to be coming outside, right?
Yeah, so we missed. There was one that was supposed to be coming into the harbor, I think. But that was last night, and we missed it.
Right.
And then another one coming in from the desert around here. And then there's the one directly in Oracle's bet.
I think, honestly, that going to one in desert would be a better idea. Take some heat off.
Find somewhere to lay low in Beacon's Rest. Also gives us a chance to check on the progress of the SANDS. Don't quite like how it's looking over there. I swear that dome is getting bigger.
It is.
Shit.
I don't know what is powering it now that the Pharaoh is gone.
Well, Pharaoh is not gone, just released. And we don't know if it's just some incantation that they took the information from them and then cast it and now it's a thing, or whether they're using him as a battery. We don't know. We need to find out a way of stopping it, but I feel like that's something that we can only...
Right. And my question is this. In our fight against Silk, we have another possible ally. The being that was under the prison.
You all hear a knock on the window.
I'll go look out the window.
There's nothing there.
The opposite, and like, if you got a high enough passive of 12, you notice a poorly hidden SANDS somewhere down the alley. Well, not alley, but down the road.
Walking towards you.
Okay. I'll crack open the door, I guess. SANDS outside. Looks like he might be trying to sneak here.
Oh god. Let him in.
SANDS is going to walk past the home itself. And if I notice Vance in the window, I'm going to connect to this mind.
I'm not really trying to hide, so...
I just needed line of sight of you. I say to his mind. I'm currently watching you to see what you're doing. You can feel the psychic air quotes.
Okay.
I just needed to let you know I was outside without them understanding that I let you know. So, I got a connection with you. I can be within a couple miles of you and still be able to talk to you. I am not walking in that house.
Do you want us to beat you somewhere?
Fen has informed me of a little hideout he dug out of the Spirewatch arena. He seems to think that this would be a good spot to hide in, that no one would look for anyone, because, like I said, he dug it out.
I'll pass that along to the group. That supposedly Fenn's got a place for us to hide in Spinewatch Arena. That he dug out, which I'm guessing with Fen means literally dug out.
Most likely.
So do we want to get that location from Zombie and then meet up there, like separate and go? We shouldn't go in a big pack.
No, that would draw too much attention, and perhaps my very presence would draw too much attention. Vance, you can turn people invisible?
I can.
Okay, then perhaps that would be good for me to do.
Okay.
I like the idea of literally going underground, at least until we have a good plan.
Yeah, I'm good with us going into hiding for at least a brief period of time until we decide what we're going to do. Some of us can move around a little more freely than the others still, but I know you're pretty noticeable at this point. They're all very highly aware of you.
I'm a target.
Yeah, and I'm assuming because you're a target, Bartikov's a target, because I gotta imagine they figured out you two. They know you two are pretty linked. I'm not sure if the rest of us have drawn enough attention yet. I don't think Somdi has. I think Somdi's still pretty safe.
You and the Ash might have a little bit of attention, but
I can disguise myself at least for cursory inspection. I mean, I'm not going to pass if they, stop and search me, but I can at least go places where and won't draw immediate attention. I have magic to do that.
That's perfect. And the Ash is quiet.
Yeah.
So
Ash sticks to the shadows and.
So truly, Bartikov and I are the ones who need to be out of the light.
Well, I can do 2 people in a day, but I can't do 2 people at the same time.
But it is, you must concentrate on it?
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's concentration. Yeah, it is.
Interesting. I may have to learn it from you so that I could concentrate on both of it. But,
I have a feeling that if it is just me, we should be able to pass through relatively unimpeded. Plus, I could get us away from here fairly quickly. I do have the ability to conjure us some form of transportation.
that works. So, it would likely be that I'm the one who needs to be invisible.
Okay. So I make you invisible, and you and Bartikov head off together to go there, and then me and Ash will go separately after a little bit of a wait and meet you guys there. Is that the plan?
That will work. And did Finn ever bring back the staff for Kat?
Yeah, he
okay,
did.
because she would have attuned to it. And for
Would any of you have taken the earring as well?
I think
Since he's not really here.
I think Finn said he wanted it, but
Finn said he wanted it.
Yeah.
What
And
does
he
it
can
do aside from communication?
nothing.
That's it.
I can reach out to people, but I have to be fairly close.
It allows communication with another person that has another earring.
Right.
It really doesn't, unless, they're dumb enough to let him spy with it. Right now, it really doesn't do much for him until we get a second one.
Well, they don't know who has it. From what I understand, you have to know who has it to communicate with them.
Okay, yeah. So they won't know who has it anyway. So right now, it really doesn't do any of us any good until we get a second one.
Right.
So.
Except in the sense that we can, in theory, hear what they are thinking and they are hearing.
I thought they had to willingly let us do that.
I don't know.
I don't know. This level of magic is not Vance's expertise.
Would I have an understanding of that?
Arcana check.
13.
There might be a send-all button.
Send all.
There. It seems that yes, it has to be on the part of the sender, to who it goes to. There may not be a way to shut it off.
So there's a chance he might pick up something if he does a global blast to his entire criminal network or something.
Something like that. He could at least cause confusion. And that is something he is very good at.
Indeed. Nothing I can trust him to do more than to frustrate.
Right. We may not have rest, but neither will they. Alright. We are ready to do this?
Yeah, so I'll let Zombie know that we will meet him there. We're gonna send out Kat and Bartikov first, Kat Invisible, and then we'll wait like an hour and let Ash go, and then I'll wait another hour and I'll go myself.
Okay. So, while you're all setting this up, Samdi, as you are walking around the streets, being very nonchalant, you get a message in your head. Samdi, you were at the Velvet Estate last night. Come back to Glory's Post. I need to know your perspective on what transpired. You can reply to this.
Do I recognize the voice?
You have never heard this individual speak before in your life.
Right. Okay. I will say, who is this?
Who dis?
New phone, who
Who
this?
dis?
Is that it? Just who is this?
Who is this? And if this is someone of higher standing, sure, I will come right back.
A moment passes by. Shinari Sun.
I will be right there, sir. As anyone that's still looking at the window, notice somebody stop and start jogging.
Let me remove those spell slots from him just in case anything happens.
Oh, sending. Even
So
me
he knows
isn't-
of you.
I'm on the registry.
You're in the phone book.
Hey, do you guys know that scaly dude who, like, he was at the event? He worked last night, right? Like, who's that bouncer that worked last night? Just.
And
So
yeah,
anyways.
I'll telepathically send Vance. I have been summoned by Shinari Sun. BRB.
And I will pass that along to the rest of the group.
Shinari Sun, that sounds so familiar.
Who is that?
Oh, Vance, you know him. Vance, you know immediately who that is. Shinari Sun is the leader of Katsun, the organization that Samdi works for. He definitely works for them guys.
At 100%.
So anyways, we're going to handle this for a moment, Samdi.
Sure.
You jog back to Glory's Post as quickly as possible, and as you round over towards their wall, breathing very heavily, you see, for the first time, fully in person, Shinari Sun, sitting on the front porch of that lavish, lovely-looking building that you always see him peeking out the window from up top. He is seated there, legs dangling over the balcony, and looks over at you and gestures for you to come approach. As you are walking forward, you can see that there's about 12 different individuals from Katsun who are all watching you from afar. You've never seen Shinari up close. The individual is definitely a very dark blue complexion for somebody who is a Bakwin. Their eyes are slightly yellowed, and their clothes are admittedly simple considering their status. Very fine made clothing, but not very lavished or exotic like many of the other individuals who show off themselves here in Casino. And as you are approaching and he's sitting there, he pats the stairs right beside him for you to sit down.
I am guarding my mind as I'm just.
All right.
I'm walking over. Greetings, Leader Shinari Sun.
Hello, Somdi. We've never been acquainted before.
Unfortunately not. And I will sit down where he instructed.
Oh, wrong song. Wrong song.
Yeah, definitely right song.
Da-da.
How Sandy feels, yes.
Just Duel of Fates playing in the background.
All two guys sitting next to
Sorry,
each
wrong
other on a fucking staircase.
God damn it, where'd the song go?
I keep expecting like fucking cyberpunk music to show up out of nowhere. Just with
Here we go.
I have a feeling that it's going to be a do. Come on. Sorry, stereotypical Egyptian music has been ruined for me.
Whatever. We'll just use the generic music I have. He looks you up and down as you are sitting there. Last night, you were the individual who reported that one of the leaders of Casino died. Zidance. I have since seen this report. And I've been asked by the other leaders to investigate into it. You are very careful with your mind. Is that usual for you?
Sandy will say, I am very careful with what could happen with it.
I need you to roll me a deception check against his insight.
A bullet advantage for game inspiration because I don't want this shit.
I do not consent to the mind invasions.
6. Okay.
Or 26.
They watch you very closely. They're suspicious of you, but they're not on alert. They just seem to be evaluating who you are. As, yet again, this is literally the first time you've ever seen them up close, let alone spoken to them.
Mind is a very terrible thing to lose.
Tell me what transpired last night.
As I was beginning my guard duty, a hour or two into the event, a unidentified figure to me emerged from the second story window and shot at myself and a guardsman. Noticing that this person handled the situation, or handled the guardsman very efficiently, I, being unable to best it one-on-one, decided to break line of sight for a moment to gather up some magic. and I was preparing to reemerge and attempt to apprehend them. When I reemerged, they were already dead and desiccated.
And you believe the individuals who did this were who?
Sandy will think for a moment, like, who actually did that?
Do you need the names of the two gladiators you framed?
No, I know I know that we're fighting Ben and Jerry, but I'm being somewhat honest here, because how the fuck are we going to blame Ben and Jerry for that? I did report this. I did not get a confirm on this. I only saw people walking away from it. I had reported this. They had told me not to make a fuss about it and simply get rid of it.
And you reported this directly to
Lakudra,
who?
Leader Lakudra, for being the one that contracted members of the Katsun to provide additional guardsmen.
He pulls out a string and begins twirling it between three of his fingers, almost idly as you're speaking.
I will think to myself, message.
Oh, habit, he says out loud.
I had suspected as much. And I, like, thinking to myself, I expected a bit of extra interrogation.
Of course. You see, many people within Glory's Post and Tatusun as a whole are aware of you, but they are not aware of what you do. They know that you can gather information and items very well, but they're not aware of how. That leaves me curious. Your story lines up with what I heard reported to me so far. However, upon investigating the body, the wounds that transpired after the carcass was already dead lined up with the two of them. I believe that Silk may be involved in these matters, as he was already giving a report over to, well, an informant of mine that worked for the Kitiri. Are you aware of who Jezemi is? Roline.
Yes, I am aware of those two.
They died. I need you to give me another deception check.
Fuck. Let me
roll again. If you get above 22, I'm just not even going to bother rolling.
Oh, not one.
Yeah. As he says that, a little fly goes past his eye and he gets very momentarily distracted and then goes back to you.
Oh my god.
We've all been there.
Just like, God damn it, get this fucking shit out of me. No, Santi will say, oh, that's a shame. I have had put a wanted poster out, or more or less a to find poster for them under orders of Lakudra.
And this is where the timeline of things becomes a little foggy. It was just after dusk that you put out a request to a few of our individuals to go and see if they can't find them, as they were last seen with Silk. Though there's nobody else who has confirmed this to me yet from the event. And Silk gave out a report of them missing roughly around the same time. I'm very confused, and I have a feeling one of you two are a guilty party in what transpired. Though I don't know which. He places a hand on your shoulder. I am not fond of killing people or something. It is not something I aspire to. But you are aware I can do this, right?
Cutely.
You are aware that I have, right?
I suspect. I never believe evil. I never, meet a person I've met for the first time and believe them a killer immediately. But being one of the leaders of Casino, it's a very tricky political scape.
I gained my position not through politics. I earned it.
I will make that.
There were mages before me who rivaled me. Some of them even challenged me. And as any mage duel goes, there's only ever one winner.
And you are here.
They are gone. Why does Silk have such an interest in you? Whispering to the wrong crowds about you and some individuals you've been seen with around town. Doing jobs for us, even.
I believe, personally, that with my unfortunate association with, again, well, you've probably seen the posting of a watch order on 2 foreigners.
Yes.
I had associated with them when they had just arrived. I even did a job that specifically involved one of them on order of Tatusun for a amulet owned by a certain Katarine.
Yes, and we thank you for this item. It's been very useful in my research.
Yes, but, sensing at least an amount of competence from Katarine, a mage of sorts, when the outer arena got engulfed in the SANDS, I decided to employ them, as they were the only others that were there that survived of competence. And of course I couldn't contract Jezmi. He was still under employ of Roline. Unfortunately, with recent encounters with them, they keep making themselves suspicious. And I am unfortunately always within distance of them.
Where did you encounter Silk that he is this curious about you?
2 times, in fact. When we entered the
Please.
stranded prison, or when we exited the stranded prison after doing our investigation there. and recently at the Velvet Estate.
That is the only time you've ever interacted with him.
On a personal level, yes. I've interacted with Silk's inferior is the wrong word. Subordinates.
Of course, everybody has.
Yes, specifically, of course, I was introduced to the late great. God damn it! I keep forgetting names. He's dead. I shouldn't need to think about this too much.
What I am curious about is why the two of you inquired about the same individuals at the exact same time.
Like I said, this was just a order from Leader Lakudra. She told me to put out a listing for them. I did so.
Well, you owe me one large job someday. And he hands you a piece of parchment.
I look at him. Can I open this, or is this
Yes.
I open and read through it.
Pertains to you. This is a capture request for you, commissioned by Iamon.
So capture
For suspicion of malicious treatment towards another leader of Casino. Zyrans. They sent this over to me, and I am denying the request. I personally believe you are innocent until proven guilty, which may not be the same treatment you would receive from other individuals. However, I'm throwing this out. There's no report of your capture being taken note within our organization, and as such, you owe me a large job on the house.
I will graciously accept your generosity.
It is a transaction.
A generous one. My life for a job. I consider that a very generous deal.
If you know anything about Silk that would cause him to want to attack Jezami, Roline, or perhaps even Zyrant, you would tell me, correct? And he leans very close to you, hand still on your shoulder.
God damn it. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Okay, back to game. If I am to be honest, I would weigh the options, but my interest is to serve and survive at the same time. With our new interaction, I have a newfound respect for you, besides as a leader. Yes, I would.
And you know nothing.
I know
Nothing incriminating against him.
not but a subtle disdain to two foreigners at the moment.
You've taken note of this. The, Katrine and Barto Cobb.
Hey, don't laugh.
He's not very
Don't.
familiar.
He's
He-
used to a
he doesn't
name
know
that
the
has a
consonants.
comma in the middle. Shut the fuck.
Yeah. Why didn't you divide that shit in two? Like, just
That's too long a
it could have been
name.
Barta Kov. Like,
Yeah.
Hello, call me Bartkov.
Okay, back to game.
yeah.
I'm not terribly uninsightful. I'm just choosing to ignore it for the sake of my financial life. Ignoring an entire factor due to one person's belief is very well. When it's one of the leaders and you ignore them, it's not exactly the easiest thing to live with.
So you have noticed he's very racist.
Yes.
Because of that makes him a liar as well. I do not like liars.
Sorry, out of character, I'm laughing my ass off.
He's trying. He's trying. He's not good at it, but he's trying.
He's even reading my goddamn mind. He's not that good at it either.
You're used to minds. Like,
I have advantage on
that's
that
your
shit.
territory. Yeah, dude, that's your home field. Like,
Quite literally, I have a psionic defense.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, one person's belief does not cause alienation from the whole. It causes alienation from one, but not the whole.
he takes his hand off of your shoulder and just looks forward at the courtyard carefully. I don't like him. And he's not even saying this to you. He's just thinking to himself.
Can I pop in his mind?
You can certainly try.
Just placing that effective psychic bug.
So you try to infiltrate into the Archmage Shinari Soon's mind. Steel trap. There's no penetrating that. I was suspicious that you had that capability, so I already took the precautions. I understand.
Seemed only fair.
I did it to you as well. You may wish to learn some magics that can do it more effectively than training, but your training seems very good as well.
I raised my hands up like, you got me.
I believe anybody who wishes to join our culture should be welcomed and treated well so long as they can adapt to it. The purist mentality should have died off a long time ago. Or else you would not be working for me. He looks down at you again.
I look like specifically out towards the courtyard, and I'm just trying to find one of the newer kids.
And there's everybody here. Half-orcs, orcs, Abakwin, humans, tabaxis, everybody here.
He'll just leave out a raspy sigh as he finally gets rid of some of that tension. It's good to know I at least have somebody here that actually likes me a bit.
I think you are mistaken. I do not like you, Samdi. But I respect you as another mortal. That is all. Nothing more.
More than what I get.
You may leave.
Got it.
And he leans back and very creakily stands up, and you hear his back is like cracking as he does. You imagine he's been seated in that position for presumably hours, just thinking. And you walk away. Back over to Katerina and Bardakov. The two of you are going to be sneaky first, right?
Sneaky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were we going to do sneaky, or was Katarine just going to be invisible and I was going to ride majestically out of the city on a camel?
We're headed to the hideout, which is inside the city.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Then yeah, we'll try and be sneaky for the moment, and then maybe majestically ride out the city on a camel.
You're heading right here on the map. Put a marker. Or, sorry, right outside of it. So, you're casting invisibility on yourself, or somebody's casting invisibility on
Fence
I'm casting it on her.
for an hour.
you. All right. So, Katarine, you have advantage on your stealth check. Bartikov, I still would like a stealth check to be as unassuming as possible as you walk into town.
19. It's good for me.
7.
7.
Look, I'm a big dude in foreign armor. It's like the dude out of Game of Thrones who's with Khaleesi, and he's wearing full plate armor with the Dothrakis.
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
Fair enough. All right.
And as we... Well, fuck, if I cast something, I will get that.
You break
Oh,
out.
hey, I
that's
just
not
realized
good.
that's another parallel for this as well.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, moving through town, your average comes out to 14 rounded up.
Yes, that makes sense.
26, 13. No, it's dead ass 13.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's only 2 of you. Okay. Bardakov, you get a couple of suspicious looks as you are moving through the city from some of the guards that you can tell are moving in large patrol groups. They are moving in units of 6 around town. And after you get a little bit of inquiry, 1 or 2 of them seem to stop and evaluate, and by the time they look, you're already gone and missing. The 2 of you walk through town as quickly as possible, where you hear a large amount of activity coming from the Spire Watch arena that is just past your point of view. This arena is far larger and more lavish than the outer arena. It appears to go across a couple of 100 feet wide in a large Colosseum-style construction made purely out of soft sandstones. There are pathways that people walk up. There's an open dome on top of the area that allows the sun to naturally filter in, and you hear a tremendous amount of cheering, chanting, and booing all in unison as some type of battlement is happening there. The 2 of you are looking around for the nice little hidey space, and in between a couple of buildings, you see that there does appear to be a small crawlway that you literally have to crawl through in order to get underneath a section of one of these buildings that seems broken down and destroyed and sealed off, but gives you a tight area for you all to sit in. Now, standing in this area is going to be a little bit inconvenient for anybody over 5.5 feet tall, which I believe is specifically Vance and Bart.
No, Katarina is like
Nobody
5'9",
else.
5'10". She's tall.
Oh, yeah, sucks for
Yeah.
you.
I do have a question. Is this space big enough for Liamon's tiny hut?
Just barely.
Then I will cast it, as well as Ritual cast Alarm at the entrance.
Okay. So, a couple of hours go by. Vance and Ash, your turn. Are you going one at a time, or are you working together?
I think we'll go one at a time.
All right. Then, Ash, please, you first. Stealth check.
Can you?
And before you ask, it's broad daylight right now.
Okay, well, can you roll for me?
Oh, yeah. Where the hell's your character sheet?
Well, usually, as I assume.
There it is. I have a lot more sheets I have to go through. Are you going to do Pass Without Trace or just normal stealth?
Pass without trace.
All right, so plus 10 on this.
Yep.
23. Kind of a low roll for you.
Yeah.
After the two of you get settled in with your tiny hut, you see Ash pop his head in this little area.
I will dismiss the alarm and allow him into the hut.
Whoop. You enter into the hut. Safe and
Recast
sound.
alarm.
Van. Yeah. You can just designate certain people can move
Oh, that's
in
right.
and out without.
Yes. Then
Yeah.
it would be our group and no one else.
Vance, your turn.
But no stealth, all subterfuge. I'm going to cast disguise self on myself to look like the guy who owns this apartment or owns this house that's currently passed out still, and I'm just gonna walk out.
Yeah. He wakes up every couple of hours and chugs another like fifth of whatever alcohol he's drinking, and then goes back to sleep. But that was it. Okay. And all right, then yeah, with disguise self and everything else, la da 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 da. I do need a stealth check for you to slip in here unnoticed, though. That's kind of the thing. To keep it a
I get you.
safe spot, don't let anybody see that you're going in there. 30-20, you're fine. So the four of you meet back up. Around the time this happens, Samdi, you can be in proximity to communicate with them if you would like. Also, Samdi, something that you would have noticed is Shinari also had one of those earrings. Samdi?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm just gonna, as I'm just sitting out in like, I'm sitting out in like somewhere in the Tranquil Harbor, like by the ocean side, basically, or lakeside, because this is a goddamn lake. I'm just gonna contact. I just need to be within 4 miles of them.
Oh, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. I'm just gonna contact Vance, and as I'm doing that, I'm gonna cast a See Invisible and looking at my shoulder.
Okay. You look at your shoulder, and there's nothing there.
Cool.
He did not plant a magical tracker on you. Good suspicion, though.
I am a suspicious person.
That's fair.
And
So
yeah,
you magically contact Vance?
send Vance a message of, so far, this, I don't think that, well, I got an order placed on me to be captured by Silk.
Oh,
Yeah, and my gracious employer has, in fact, substituted that order for a report suspicious activity of Silk to him. That is a thing that I need to do for the Katsune now. Well, specifically to... Yeah.
okay. So Silk's completely onto you now and has made that publicly known.
Yep, just about.
I'll keep the rest of the group abreast of our conversation. I will let somebody know that we all made it to the spot. I don't know that we're going to have a whole lot of time to sit then. I mean, if they're out now looking for you and already Kat Bartikov, that just draws more and more attention to those of us that haven't been specifically named, and just makes us all more likely to be caught up in the whole thing and watched, is really my concern.
But do some do believe that Shinari would trust the word of two outsiders Because the way we could frame it is that that Bartakov and I were the ones who discovered all this. That's... We had to
Yes.
reach back out to Samdi in our time of need.
I think the tricky part is that regardless of who we are speaking to, whether they give us fair chance, it is going to be the words of two new outsiders against a respected, nay, renovated?
Revered.
Revered
sorry.
member of Casino's upper echelons. It will be very difficult to convince anyone that Silk is anything other than the best
You're
guy
also-
they've ever met.
Yeah, you're also thinking of. God damn it! I lost it as soon as I was trying to say it. Venerated.
Venerated, thank you.
Yes.
I'm just getting used to your language. I apologize.
Ah, yes, the old Prussian language of vodka, potato. Greatest honor you can give somebody.
But
We don't have any super concrete evidence, do we? The note's the best thing we got. And
We
I don't
have-
think that's enough, is it?
we have everything that we had in the temple.
Yeah.
We have everything that the Yasme has. We just need to retrieve it. And there is a good bit there. We have Ash's knowledge of the shipping containers, what those contain, the purple sands, in Zyron's office. That we know that Zyron and Silk were connected because of the letter between them.
Maybe if we capture the shipment, we might be able to tie it to him.
That is not a bad idea.
I think that is the most sensible next route. Otherwise, it's probably just a question of murdering Silk and then getting out of town, doing our good, and then not being around to reap the rewards. But that feels a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think we're better off trying to convince Somdi's leader that Silk is the bad guy, even if he makes us go kill Silk still, just like the other person did. At least then we might have enough somewhat enough political power to protect us after the fact.
We would have political cover, yes.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. We need some form of immunity from the inevitable crimes against society that we are going to have to commit.
So I think trying to capture that is our next logical step. May or may not get us anything, but it's the best chance we've got.
right. And somebody could say that Botakov and I were the ones who contacted him to do so. That he had nothing to do with the intermediate part. I do not mind being blamed. I already am. But he could say that he has information on, he's been contacted with additional information in regards to Silk. And that he would like to turn it over.
What benefits could there be to working with the Katsu? Do you think they would support us in our ambitions to remove Silk? Or would we merely end up being turned over?
I think that's a question for you, Softy.
So you've relayed everything to me back.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
he's just translating, so you all can just talk.
Okay. Honestly, the one thing I can say is that he apparently has no like of liars and doesn't like him. Besides that, he had threatened the ability to kill me, which isn't the strangest thing that's happened today.
But also, you
He
have to.
didn't threaten.
But also, would he be
implied he could.
would he be opposed to genocide? Because that is Silk's plan. Is to kill and relocate every outsider, which means to kill, but through different means.
I'll say this now. I might be overly relying on my abilities, but I can't get a fix on it. Therefore, I can't trust him.
That is fair.
But that's just me.
But at the same time, you are difficult to read.
I make that obvious.
Right. Do you trust someone who has the same caution that you do? Or do you not trust someone who has the same caution you do?
We're already in a tough enough spot. I can't. I'm being brought into concepts I wasn't that interested in the beginning.
What do you
I can
think?
talk to Sanari again. Very likely.
So you are willing to at least be open to the idea that we could trust him? Or at least use him?
I'm never going to trust anyone in that organization, but I am going to accept that we're going to need him.
That is fair enough. Alright. Then it seems that we are headed east once we are able to leave here. We are capture the shipment. Do you think you could slip away to assist us?
What should we doing first? Capture shipment or talk to him?
I say capture the shipment. It will give us more leverage if we have some kind of hard evidence. Otherwise, we're just going in there saying, we found Silk's secret underground lair with all of this pharaoh thing that he's plumbing for information, but the pharaoh's not there anymore because we released him because we're crazy. We don't have
Speaking
anything
of crazy, don't look into the stranded prison. There's definitely not a missing ancient being.
Exactly. We don't have any firm evidence of anything. Mostly from our own doing, but...
Well, we do not want to be tracked.
Exactly. So, I say we need to find a smoking gun. There needs to be some kind of...
What is gun?
You're supposed to flex when somebody says that. Bart.
Nice. I'll be right back.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Sir.
good job.
That is called dehydration.
Ah, nice, nice.
So you
should
drink
try
soda,
this.
cool.
Water.
Yeah. Mhm.
Delicious.
Alright, so the shipment is due when? Today? Tonight?
Tonight.
So we have
A day to get all the way across town without being seen and meet somewhere out in the open desert to the east of Beacon's Rest. though you know that you are looking for a small formation of ruins out there. A small cluster.
Right.
Looks like we're
So-
going to need some kind of transport. What can you guys do for steeds around here?
Camels.
I can get myself a camel, but will only transport myself and Katarine.
I mean, I could buy a camel. I don't have one handy.
What, you don't have one in your pocket?
I do not.
What kind of level of preparedness is this? Always should have pocket camel.
I'm a city boy. I've never needed a pocket camel before.
I had one friend, he carried around, I think he called it pocket cat, but I don't think it was for transport.
I mean, I guess we could turn Fed into a camel and strike Fed out there.
Finally clicked.
Oh, I knew it. I
Just took
just.
his time. Yes, do you think that Finn could turn into camel that would take care of? We would have one person left, which could be somebody, and he hires a camel to come find us.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Yes, Fen could wild shape into a camel if you really, really want him to. He could also wild shape into the Serpard if you need him to.
I feel like that would attract a lot of attention.
Because doesn't Fen
Turn into such a lame creature.
That's
All
what
right,
I thought.
he posted. He refuses. All right, what about a Serpard? Would you be a Serpard mount temporarily? We'll wait
I'm
for your
expecting an
reply, sir.
immediate yes.
Fine.
Fine. Hey, Zen. All right, so yeah, he would be a Serpard mount for anybody who requires it once you get out of town and out of sight of suspicion. And that would leave, so Bartikov, Katarine on your summoned steed. Who will ride Fen? Stop it. Stop it.
I will.
I'm trying.
And
No,
then we
do
need
very well.
one more camel. So, Samdi, are you willing to purchase a camel for this endeavor? To travel through the desert much more efficiently?
I will become my inner sand crocodile. No, I'll purchase a camel.
Okay.
Sand
Camels are 250 gold. Actually, no, out here they would only be 100.
Would you
Can I
rent
rent a
one?
camel?
Yeah, you can rent a camel, yes.
Call Uber.
Ubahira.
Make sure you get the insurance. The way our
How
lives
much?
go, you're gonna need it.
Is it half the price for a rent?
Renting is half the price, yes. And if it dies, you owe the other half.
It's just easier to buy it.
If you want to ride,
And then it's yours.
Fed, I can buy a camel.
I paid for it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what your money was like,
Alrighty.
so
Nobody knows what my money is like. I don't publicly broadcast it.
I know. That's why I said I didn't know.
And just to let you know, to Joey, Misha is currently a spider.
Ah, Misha the spider.
I do need a spider sheet if you have one.
Sure. Generic spider. All right. So we all have an idea
Yes.
of what we're going to be doing. I think we can go ahead and go on break. And when we come back, you all are trying to venture out into the open sands.
Just come back.
Sorry. We'll be right back.